remaining passengers on Philippine Airlines.
Howdy, howdy, folks. A-Train with you with another episode of SimAirport in early access. This is going to be a continuation of the tutorial series from last week. We ran through 3 parts. We took the basic career airport and terminal and we got it ready to go. We scheduled flights. We rezoned it a little bit. We added a little bit of security. I showed you how to build an add-on to the building to allow a bypass for PAX arriving to come in through the gate and then bypass security on their way out the front door. We added a couple extra ticket desks, rearranged security, showed you how to do queue lines, do a little work on adding benches for people to sit on, ATMs for them to get cash, information boards, flight info displays for them to get their information fix in, and a food vending machine for them to get food. We also put a few garbage bins in the restrooms that weren't there. We researched the chief financial officer, gave them an office, and we have them researching pricing so that we'll be able to set the prices for our flights as soon as possible. That should happen late day 2. And let's see, what else did we do? We set a schedule. Now, since I did those videos, it's been a week. A number of patches have come out. I'm on the experimental server. That doesn't mean all this is going to happen, but we're testing it. And it's looking pretty good, I gotta say, because some really cool stuff has come out. First off, let me go down here and show you the objects menu because it's changed. There's a bunch of new buttons that kind of classifies things. You can look at everything that's in the menu, and you're gonna see some things in here. Coffee kiosk, for you coffee drinkers. Dessert kiosk for us dessert eaters. Some fountains. Health food kiosks for the health junkies. And then down here is a snack kiosk, which is pretty cool. Always good for a snack, especially if you're a Kerbal. Looky there. See this? There's a small runway. That's the runway we had last time. 90 tiles by 10 tiles. But now there's a medium runway. Dun, dun, dun. It's 150 tiles by 10 tiles. And there's a large runway. Bum, bum, bum. It's 240 tiles by 10 tiles. Which means you have to be on the extra large map from the get-go to even see what it looks like. So guess where we are? We're now on the extra large map, and this is the large runway. Why is this significant? This extra large map is 250 tiles wide, and it's 200 tiles in height. So if I rotate this thing, you can't even fade on the map. But there's a solution to that. We'll get to that in just a minute. Let's continue on with our on the objects menu here real quick. Okay, so they've classified things a little differently. It used to be indoor and outdoor. We threw some ideas out there. I came up with decor, and you can see decorative stuff. Retail. Now, there is some department of redundancy stuff. You'll see some things in multiple pages, like the office chair. It's under ops, and it's under seating. Now, here's another new thing, benches. So here's the old school airport benches. Here's the nice leather benches that both seat 4 butts at one time. They're $500. This is the new 2-seat bench, and this is the new 3-seat bench. These are both just scaled down versions of this one. Now they're the same price, and I've kind of put that to the devs to say, why? If you're only getting 3/4 of the bench, why should you have to pay the same price? Or half the bench? So hopefully they'll adjust that soon. Not that it's really terribly relevant, but whatever. Here's benches again under comfort as our sinks and urinals and toilets and garbage bins and ATMs. Not sure why a garbage bin is a comfort item, unless you come off the plane sick and need a place to Ralph, which a toilet would serve as well too. Or to put your barf bag that you threw up in on the airplane. I guess that's a comfort item. Very good. Then there's structures, extra large gates, the air traffic control tower, hangars, runways, and the light rail train platform. I don't know if that was out when we went through this before. Anyway, so that's a new deal. You have to research that. I'll show you. Some research stuff has changed as well. All right, so they've rearranged the research menu on us. Finance is up top, and then here's the various things and they're tiered. So pricing is under research already, okay? Bank loans, you have to research that before you can research these two. See how everything steps over? So look under operations. There is operations, land expansion. Aha! That's how we can make the map bigger. Once you research land expansion, you can purchase parcels on the east side of the map and the north side of the map. You can't go west, you can't go south. The southwest corner of the map is the 0, point. So that may change in the future. I don't know how they're going to do that if they mess with it. I don't necessarily see a reason to, but I also do see a possible reason to. But for now, you can expand off to the east and you can expand off to the north. Now what's neat is if you buy the first parcel, say on the east, right? And let's say it opens out this far, okay? And it'll run the length of the map and it'll go out 30 tiles or whatever it is, okay? When you go to expand to the north, it will go the full width to that part of the map. What it does is it kind of reloads the game on you with the bigger map. And if you do another purchase, then let's say you go to the north, if you bought this piece to the east, the map will go over here to say where the menu or where the clock thing is. The north side parcel will then go that width. If you expand to the north and then you try to go to the east, it will go further up. All right. So it compensates so that your map stays in a rectangular shape or square or whatever. You don't wind up with wonky corners. Anyway, so the research deal on standby gates, I think we covered that. That allows you, when you start building extra gates, to assign one to standby. So if you have an aircraft that's laid off the gate, another one will come in and see, oh, look, my gate's busy, but there is a standby gate, so I can go ahead and land. He'll land, and they'll taxi in and park at the standby gate. Road building has multi-lane access underneath it. Well, that kind of makes sense. You got to research this before you research this. Then there's upgraded buses. Then there's light rail transit. Land expansion's 90 grand. Light rail transit's 50 grand. And you place this LRT platform out front of your terminal. Right now, it's a one-hit wonder. You put it and it's done. Set it and forget it. You can't move it. You can't disassemble it. Nothing. You're done. Okay, so let's get caught up to where we are now, because what I did, due to all these changes, because we're about to get to the schedule. And if you've noticed, we're still on day one and it's 11:17 p.m. So what I did is I went back and started over on career mode with the base terminal and airport on the extra large map. So we've got that room to expand because we're going to have to build bigger runways at some point. There's really, I mean, if you want to landlock yourself with the small map, that's fine, whatever. But what's good about this is there's actually room to the south to build. So we've got room to go this direction, we've got room to go this direction, and currently, we've got taxiway and runway this direction, but that can always be changed. Once you build a second runway, you can tear down the first runway, but you've got to build a second one, or I think you have to, yes, you can't have any flights on the schedule, okay? And currently we don't have any flights. So in the remaining 10.5 minutes or so of this episode, I just want to show you what we've done. So I showed you the menu changes real quick. I'm going to show you something on the schedule too, because we have to redo our schedule. I made one other change to the terminal, and that was because something was bugging me. When we put on the security exit, we added basically 3 tiles. This was the wall previously here. Okay, it ran along this line and then down this line. We added basically 3 tiles width, and then we opened it up here and here, and that allows packs to exit through these 2 security exits. And note, they're green on the right and red on the left. That means packs will flow through from right to left. And that helps reestablish, because we didn't. We took down the security zone, but that helps us show the secure area. See, it ends at those tiles. All right, it's red to the left, it's green to the right. Now, what we did was I made the executive decision to add 2 more tiles down here to baggage claim. If you'll remember, I wasn't terribly thrilled with the positioning of the baggage carousel. In the previous position, it would have started here-ish because that's where the wall was, and stuck up here, and it was all in the way. And so I added 2 tiles down here. That cost, what was it, $15,000-$20,000? Let's just check real quick. Yeah, $20,000 to add those 2 rows of tiles. So that's why we're a little deeper in debt. Well, we're not in debt. We still have $11,000. I think I'm up to 12 workers, 3 janitors, 5 staff, 6 security. I think I may have put on a couple extra workers to get this done. And we did establish the gates. Everything else is the same. The bathrooms are the same. Security is the same. All this is the same. Ticketing's the same. But we added 2 tiles down here, shortened up the baggage claim zone. I've got it set up so that we can put a second one here, basically anywhere in this space we want. But I wanted to point this out to you so it didn't look like, hey, wait a minute, he cheated. He changed something and didn't tell us. Full disclosure, we added a couple tiles down here simply because it better accommodates the flow and it looks better. All right? If you have the money, spend the money, whatever. You just don't want to go into debt. Okay, so before we wrap this episode, let's reset our schedule because there's been a change. I pull up the master flight schedule down here in the right-hand corner. I've already manipulated this with the button here to kind of narrow it down just to 1 gate and then to move it over to show starting at 4 a.m. So we're going to pull up airline interest. Now, if you see and you remember, there was a couple here, a couple here, a couple here, a couple here. A couple flights from each airline. That's been changed to help you when you're first starting out. There are more flights of smaller jets and planes, okay? So let's look at Aerotime. Again, and for every flight you sign up, you get a $2,500 bonus. If you terminate the flight, cancel it, you lose $5,000. We're not terribly worried about their primary concerns. Here's the type of airplane they have. They have the 707. This is something new. So, and this just came out last night. I'm thrilled with it because it was something I was pushing for. Note when I mouse over the aircraft, it tells you what it is, how many max passengers, the minimum gate size it needs, and the minimum runway length that you must have. 90 tiles is the small runway. I'm actually pushing to get the 707 pushed up to the middle runway because I just don't think you'd have, I don't think it would be able to take off and land on the short runway. But the 737 is 150 tiles. Well, if you can put an A320 on the 90 tile runway, you sure as shooting can put a 737 on that runway. So unfortunately right now we're locked out of the 737. I'm hoping they correct that in tonight's patch. We'll see, but we do have other options for flights, so we can make up for it. If you look, we'll see the Bombardier CRJ 900s. That's this aircraft here. It's 75 max packs, minimum runway length 90, so we're good to go. And then there's the Embraer 195, which is 90 packs, and it uses the 90 tile runway. So that's the small runway. Both those aircraft, I'm hoping they'll swap these two. This to the medium, this to the small, because I love the 737 and it should be on the small runway. Okay, so there's a bunch of flights now. They've made it so that there's more flights available to you from the get-go. Be warned, some of us are pushing that you don't get 767s off the top of the get-go, and really even 707s, and maybe not even 737s. The idea being, if you're in career mode, you start with this little tiny airport, you're only going to get little tiny airplanes in that little tiny airport until you build up some prestige. So that's something we're kind of working with the devs with, to add a little challenge into the game and add a little progression into the game. To me, it doesn't seem right that if I just had the bigger runway, which I don't have the money for right now, I could just slap down the bigger runway and boom, pick up a 767, 250 packs, get the pricing set, and boom, I'm raking in some bucks. That is, of course, if I can accommodate those packs. And honestly, with an airport the size we've got going here, with just 2 ticket desks, 3 ticket kiosks, and 3 gate agents, and 2 security lines. If you had 250 packs here, this thing would be a blob of people and it would be a mess. So I highly advise against trying to push 250 packs. And that's not just 250, that's 250 possibly departing and 250 arriving. So you've got 500 packs throughput. If you think about a new flight coming in, that's what you have to think about. Not only what's going out, but what's coming in. Now, you've got to provide more facilities for those going out, ticketing and security. Those coming in, though, are going to be using your facilities, and that's going to tie up your bag claim. It's going to tie up your restrooms and whatnot. Okay, so let's hurry up here and look at what we've got. Here's a Forward Air. We can't accept the 7.3s, which that sucks. So I'm actually going to hamstring myself a little bit here and not accept the 707s, because I don't think we should be able to, and that's in lieu of the fact that we can't take the 737s. So we've got an Embraer 195 here from Aerostar. We'll take that in a minute. Let's go back up here to Aerotime. That's looking like who we're going to be using most of. All right, let's start in the morning. CRJ 900, Embraer 195. Okay, we prefer the 195. We'll take the ERJs though, or we'll take the CRJs. Here's a morning CRJ. Let's accept that. That drops in here from 4 to 5 or 4 to 6 a.m. Remember, if you left click, you can slide it around. You can't move it outside the green area. The arrival time has to be in the green zone. Okay? It can't be before it, can't be after it. All right? We're going to accept this, and then we mouse over the right side of it. We left click and hold, and we can drag it out to 5 hours or shrink it down to 90 minutes. That's how we adjust the gate time for the aircraft, which helps us compensate for how many gate agents we have and how many packs there are, and how much unloading time it's going to take. Like a 747 takes an hour and a half to unload. All right, but the CRJ shouldn't take more than 90 minutes on the gate, so we'll put that there. Now we're going to bounce back Aerostar. I think he has an Embraer in the morning. We're going to back this up so we have at least a half hour between flights, and we're going to drop it down to 90 minutes. Okay? No more flights we're going to be able to take from these guys. Okay, they're out. A Forward Air, they're out because we're not going to take 707s, and we can't get 7.3s, and we can't get 7.6s. So we're back to Aerotime. So let's see what else we got. We got CRJ in the morning. We'll take that. Click, drag it over, give it a half hour, crunch it down so it's 90 minutes on the gate. Do we have any other morning flights? No. Let's look at Pacific Airlines. Oh boy, they got these little puddle jumpers with 19 packs. We're going to take one for giggles. It's only going to take 90 minutes, and we could actually get it done quicker than that. But that fills out the morning schedule. So now we've got 4 flights on the schedule. These guys, yeah, goodbye. Okay, Aerostar. We have any afternoons? No, we're done with you. So we're back to Aerotime. We're going to take this afternoon CRJ, knock it down. We already put lights on the runway, so we can take night flights. So we definitely want to take this one. And we definitely want to take this one. Back it up. Make it smaller. And so now we've got 5, 7. Actually, I think we had 7 flights with the other build. And they were bigger airplanes. We had 2 707s in the morning. So honestly, though I've kind of hamstrung us a little bit here, and you can play the game however you want. I'm just doing this to show what you can do and the way I kind of think it ought to be done. Do we want another Pacific Airlines flight? Yeah, okay, whatever. You talk me into it. All right, we're going to be ditching that bitch pretty quick. Here's the thing. We had $2,600 for it. We're going to be paying $5,200 when we cancel them. So, whoa, yeah. But we do still have room for one more flight here at 4 p.m. as long as it's gone by 5. We also have room for a 10 p.m. arrival. All right? So that's 8 flights on the schedule. We have room for 2 more, which is all we're allowed before we build an air traffic control tower, which will be down the road. So now, we're fully booked. As far as I know, yep, that's nothing there. And we're not taking them. Actually, that's a morning flight anyway. We can't take it. And Aerostar, we know we can't. Okay, so we're back to where we were at the end of episode 3. Maybe I gave you a little refresher since it's been a few days or whatnot. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this episode now. And we're going to start looking at rolling the clock forward. I'm going to roll us forward till probably about 2 o'clock in the morning. So that'll just get through the nighttime, and you won't have to sit and watch us do nothing. Because I don't think there was anything else for me really to share with you at this moment. Thus, we'll go ahead and save our game here. We'll roll through the night. I'll bring you back about 2 a.m. and we will move on with episode 5 and see how our first day of our airport's operation goes. So we'll see you again soon. Take care.